This takes place when I lived in Alaska. I'm a 21-year-old college student, and I was using a dating app one day after class. Perhaps you may be familiar with this certain application. Does Tinder ring a bell? I'm sure it does. It's one of the most popular forms of online dating. That's why when I used it, I was matched with a guy, who for this story we're going to call Mark. Mark messaged me, and he complimented me on my looks, saying I was pretty, amongst other kind words. I thanked Mark, to which almost immediately he asked for my phone number. Foolishly, I gave him that information, not realizing I had just set myself up for some of the most scariest series of events that were going to happen thus far. Mark began to text me almost immediately, and he actually asked me out. I told him I didn't have time for a date because I was busy with a school project that would be due later that week. Fast forward to the weekend. I'm at home and both my parents had left for a business trip. With me was my brother, who was downstairs playing video games. As for my sister, she had taken my little sisters to the movies. The time was roughly 10 p.m., and I was in my room texting one of my friends. Out of nowhere, I hear what sounds like the side door to our backyard opening. I looked out there, and I was able to see a figure moving in the dark. Instantly, I get up to grab my phone, but before I could dial for help, my brother runs upstairs, yelling for me to call the police. We proceeded to hide in the bathroom, as I was soon connected with our local police department. I now began to explain our current situation, as we hear the stranger who entered our home walk up the stairs. Moments later, we hear the door handle of the restroom begin to jingle. Since it was locked, he starts to bang on the door, as my brother and I are sitting there in absolute shock. A few minutes pass, and we hear police sirens in the distance. Footsteps are then heard running down the stairs, and outside we hear officers telling someone to freeze. Another couple of minutes later, the police come up to the restroom, and they tell us it's safe to come outside. When we walk with them to the front of the house, they tell my brother and I the man who broke in had a knife, rope, and gloves inside a bag. The officers explain further this intruder had photos of me on their phone. Talk about creepy. Next, the officers called my parents and explained the situation that had just occurred. Last I've heard, the man was sentenced to 4 months in prison. What a lack of justice, I'll tell you. So, if there is a learning lesson I can pass on to you, it's this. If you're going to meet someone from the internet, always make sure to take somebody with you, and make sure to meet in a public location.